what if you had a system that could predict a devastating, career-ending injury right down to the second it was going to happen? Well, today we're looking at a case where that exact thing happened. The tech was perfect, but the human system built around it, it failed completely. This quote from one of the lead scientists on the project, it just says it all. The machine was perfect, the system was broken. You know, this isn't really a story about a technological failure. It's a tragic look at the massive gap between knowing what's about to happen and being totally powerless to stop it. So let's go back and reconstruct what happened. We're going to walk through this from the perspective of the very scientists who built the prediction model, and we're going to keep asking ourselves the one question that haunts them. How did a perfectly foreseen injury still happen? We're talking about a professional athlete at the absolute peak of their game, and their career just ends in a single moment. But the truly devastating part, the part that's so hard to stomach, is that it never ever should have happened. And that's what we're here to unpack. How did this preventable tragedy slip through everyone's fingers? To really get it, we have to start with the data. Because long before anyone saw anything wrong, long before the athlete felt a thing, there were these whispers of failure in the numbers. They were totally invisible to the human eye, but to the AI, they were screaming. The AI was keyed in on something called biosignals. You can think of these as the body's secret language. They're all the little electrical signals zipping around from your nerves and muscles, and they tell the real story of what's going on under the hood, way before you'd ever feel pain. And this right here, this is exactly what the AI was seeing. Over on the left, you've got a healthy, stable nerve signal. It's rhythmic, predictable. But look at the right. That is just chaos. It's an erratic, spiking mess. This is the electrical signature of a system that's about to fail. It's the body shouting that it's losing control. So the AI wasn't just guessing, right? It zeroed in on two absolutely critical warning signs. First, those chaotic nerve signals we just saw. And second, it was detecting muscle microtears, tiny, accumulating bits of damage. It's like watching a rope fray strand by strand, right before it snaps. And here's how the whole process worked. It's pretty straightforward. First, you've got non-invasive sensors on the athlete, constantly sensing those biosignals. Then, the AI crunches just terabytes of that data in real time, looking for the bad patterns. And then, step 3, it flags the one specific combination of signals that meant disaster wasn't just possible, it was a certainty. Okay, this brings us to the most critical and honestly the most heartbreaking part of this entire story. The final few seconds before the injury, when the AI sent a perfect prediction that nobody heard. Just look at this timeline. It is absolutely chilling. At 5 seconds out, the AI predicts catastrophic muscle failure with 99.7% certainty. A second later, it generates the warning. But then at 2 seconds to go, the athlete, completely oblivious, starts the exact motion that will end their career. And at 0, it happens. The injury occurs exactly when and how the machine said it would. 5 seconds. It's nothing, right? But in this context, it was everything. A shockingly clear window of opportunity. It was more than enough time for someone, anyone, to just yell, "Stop!" and prevent a life from being changed forever. But that chance just vanished. And let's be really clear about this. This was not a weather forecast saying there's a chance of rain. This was a high-fidelity, time-stamped certainty. The AI wasn't predicting that an injury might happen. It was stating with incredible precision that a catastrophic failure was happening. And it was dead right. So that brings us to the real point of failure. It wasn't in the algorithm. It wasn't in the sensors. The failure was human. It was in the massive gap between the data the machine had and the decision makers on the field. This is the question, isn't it? The one that hangs over this whole thing. If the warning was so clear, so perfect, who missed it? Who dropped the ball? And the answer is just crushing. No one missed the warning because there was no one to send it to. The alert was generated inside the computer, but there was no system, no protocol, nothing in place to get that message to a coach, a trainer, or the athlete themselves. The alarm was silent. And this right here is the core of the whole breakdown. The AI was being used as a passive research tool. Its only job was to collect data for scientists to look at later. But what the situation desperately needed was an active, real-time alert system. It was designed to be like a security camera recording a fire, when what everyone needed was a smoke detector that could scream, "Get out!" So what's the takeaway? What do we do with a story this tragic? Well, we have to treat it as the painful but vital lesson that it is. See, having the power to predict the future, it comes with this immense burden of actually being prepared to act on what you see.
So for all of you out there, especially young specialists in sports medicine or tech, these are the lessons we can't forget. First, data is useless without integration. Second, you have to develop and test clear, real-time alert protocols. Third, the data scientists in the lab and the coaches on the field have to be talking to each other. And finally, you have to decide from day one, is this tool for research or is it for prevention? Because you can't be surprised when your research tool fails to prevent anything.
Ultimately, this whole incident leaves us with one really profound question. We are getting so good at building technologies that can see what's coming, but are we building the systems, the protocols, and frankly, the humility to actually listen to them? That's the real challenge ahead of us.